Use the OHM range of multimeter to check the resistance between PQE of communication cable if it is in short circuit. Check the communication cable if it is broken by short circuit 1, ends of the PQE cable. If the communication cable is short circuit or broken, replace the communication cable. If it is normal, go to the next step. 1. Check if the communication cables among indoor units are in series connection. If not, change to series connection. 2. Check if addresses of indoor units are repeated. Continue pushing the query bottom on the remote receiver for 5 seconds, one by one. The indoor unit will display the address, and the ones with LED can display address number. The ones without LED can be calculated according to the lighted lamps. The address code table is as followed. Check if the addresses of the indoor units in the same system are repeated. If so, please adjust the repeat address. 3. Check if the indoor units of the same system are connected to the same power supply. If some indoor units have separate power supply, check if they are in power off condition and switch on the power supply for them. The power supply of the system must be modified later. The indoor units which have separate power supply should be changed to have the same power supply as the other indoor units in this system. 4. Check if the communication cable is separated with a strong current cable. If not, it is required that the weak current cable should be 30 centimeters away from strong current cable to avoid electromagnetic interference. If any of the above problems exist, it must be modified. Then the malfunction can be solved. If not, please go to next step. Step 5. Check if the communication cable is longer than 1,500 meters. If so, signal should be adjusted or enhanced. After the above repairing, if malfunction still exists, the PC board of outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. E4. Malfunction of temperature sensor for ambient temperature/condenser outlet. Malfunction of temperature sensor T4 for outdoor air and T3 for condenser outlet. There are 2 causes. 1. T4 or T3 is loose connection. 2. Sensor is broken, such as connecting cable is broken or sensoring bulb is damaged. Repair instructions when E4 appears. Step 1. Check the connection cable of the outdoor ambient temperature sensor and condenser outlet pipe sensor if it is reliable and correct. If the connector is correct, go to next step. Step 2. Replace the temperature sensor by the resistor of 10K per 0.25 watts. If the malfunction disappears, please replace a new sensor. Otherwise, the PC board of the outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. E9. Malfunction of power supply. Repair instructions when E9 appears. Step 1. Use AC voltage range of the multimeter to check voltage of power supply if it is in the range of 380 volts plus or minus 2%. If the voltage of power supply is stable, the stable power supply should be provided. If it is normal, go to the next step. Step 2. Use DC voltage range of multimeter to check the voltage between P and N if inverter module if it is about 540 volts. Confirm the inverter circuit is normal or not. If it is abnormal, replace a new inverter module repair the defective component. After the above repairing, if malfunction still exists, the PC board of outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. H0, H1, malfunction of transmission among the chips. H0, malfunction of transmission between the chip IR341 and chip 780034. H1, malfunction of transmission between chip 0537 and chip 780034. The solution is to replace a new PC board. But in some cases, the reason is the +5 voltage power supply is lower than normal, which is caused by the sensor cable is short circuit to the ground. Causes are open phase of power supply, main chip, or EPROM is not well installed. Transformer is loose connection. Repair instructions when H0, H1 appears. Step 1. Use AC voltage range of the multimeter to check voltage of power supply. If it is in the range of 380 volts plus or minus 2%. Checking if the power supply is lacked of phase or phase unbalanced. If the power supply is abnormal, please repair the power supply. If it is normal, please go to next step. Use AC voltage range of multimeter to check if the output of transformer is about 10 volts and 16 volts. If it is abnormal, please reset the power of the system to see if the malfunction disappears or not. If the malfunction still exists, the PC board of outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. H2, H3 improper outdoor unit quantities. Only master unit display. When there are several outdoor units in parallel connection, if some slave units cannot return normally because of powered off, PC board broken, or the poor communication between master and slave units, then it possible appears the improper outdoor unit quantities malfunction. Repair instructions when H2, H3 appears. Step 1. Check if the terminals of H1, H2, E-communication cable among outdoor units are loosened or not. If loosened, please rewiring the cable reliably. If it is normal, please go to next step. Step 2. Check if some outdoor units are instantaneous powered off when there are many modules in parallel connection. In this case, the malfunction can be solved as long as the power supply resumes, but the root cause why the power is off should be found out. After the above repairing, if the malfunction still exists, the PC board of outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. H8, malfunction of high pressure sensor. When the system is running, if the discharge gas pressure is lower than 0.3 MPa, discharge pressure sensor malfunction will happen. Two kinds of reasons. 1. The sensor cable is broken or the connection is loosened. 2. Sensor is broken, such as connecting cable is broken or induction plate is damaged. Repair instructions when H8 appears. Step 1. Check if the connection of the discharge pressure sensor is correct and reliable. If it is okay, please go to the next step. Step 2. Use pressure gauge to check the pressure of high pressure shutoff valve. If the pressure is higher than 0.3 megapascal, it means the pressure sensor is broken. You have to replace a new one. The pressure sensor is okay if the pressure is lower than 0.3 megapascal. If the malfunction still exists, the PC board of outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. P0, top cover of compressor overheat protection. P4, discharge gas high temperature protection. When P0 or P4 appears 3 times in 100 minutes, system will be locked and shows H6 code. Only reset the power supply can relieve the malfunction. In this case, you should check the system to prevent more damage as soon as possible. When P0 or P4 appears, there are 4 kinds of reasons. One, system lacks of refrigerant. The temperature on the top of compressor shell and discharged gas is too high. The suction pipe may be frost. Pressure of discharged and suction gas is too low, and current is too small. In this case, charging more refrigerant can solve the malfunction. 2. Filter of compressor suction pipes is dirty and jammed. The temperature on the top of compressor shell is very high. P0 or P4 appears. But discharge temperature is not high. Other compressors' shell temperature is very low. That is because the defect compressor cannot absorb the refrigerant, and too much refrigerant is sucked by other compressors. Solution: welding off the suction pipe with malfunction and clean the dust on the filter of it. Three, the filter of main suction pipe of outdoor unit is jammed. The temperature on the top of compressor shell is too high, but the discharge gas has no temperature and pressure, leading to the 4-way valve cannot change the direction in heating mode. The pressure of gas and liquid pipe is nearly the same. Behind the filter, the main suction pipe is absolutely frosted. Solution: if it is jammed by dust, please clean the filter of main suction pipe. If it is jammed by ice, it needs to install the dry filter to clear the water in the system. 4. Suction pipe of the compressor is jammed by ice. The temperature of the top of the compressor shell is very high. P4 protection appears, but discharge temperature is not high. Other compressors' shell temperature is very low. After restart the system, water may go to the other suction pipe filter, and P0 or P4 happens again. Solution: if the ice jam is not serious, water in the system can be cleared by dry filter. If the ice jam is not serious, water in the system can be cleared by dry filter. If the ice jam is serious and too much water in the system, it is very difficult to clear all the water. Change the refrigerant and oil mixed with water and use dry nitrogen to clean the system is the only way to remove the water absolutely. Repair instructions when P0 or P4 exists. Step 1. Check if the connection cable of discharge temperature sensor is correct and reliable. If the connection cable is normal, go to the next step. If P0 or P4 happens when the system is in standby mode, the sensor resistance should be incorrect and need to be changed. If P0 or P4 appears when the system is running, please use the temperature meter. Check the temperature around the sensor. If it reached the protection valve of 120 degrees Celsius. If the actual temperature is in normal range, the sensor resistance should be incorrect, or the main board is damaged. Check the sensor first. If the malfunction still exists, PC board should be changed. Step 2. Use pressure gauge to check the system pressure in standby mode and during operation. Use pressure gauge to check the system pressure in standby mode and during operation. Compare with other normal system nearby to judge if the system additional refrigerant is insufficient or existing leakage. If refrigerant is insufficient, please recharge more refrigerant and find out the reasons why refrigerant is not enough. If it is normal, please go to next step. Step 2. Check if the heat transfer or heat exchange in low pressure side is bad. If heat exchanger or filter becomes dirty, fan stops, or air volume is insufficient, and so on. It can make outdoor unit worse heat transfer, and the working condition is terrible, result in the compressor temperature increase fast. If it is the problem, please wash the heat exchanger and filter, and maintenance outdoor unit duct. If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 4. Check if the pipes of low pressure side is jammed or deformed. The phenomenon is that temperature of discharge in suction gas is too high. Suction pressure is too low, current is low, and the suction pipe may be frosted. If the pipe is jammed, check the filter at the compressor suction pipe. If the filter is jammed, discharge all the refrigerant in the system and wash the filter. If it is ice jam, install a dry filter. If it is normal, please go to next step. Step 5. Use refrigerant pressure gauge to check if there is air or nitrogen in the system. If there is air or nitrogen, temperature and pressure of discharge in suction gas will be high. Current will be large, and the pointer of pressure gauge will be shaken. In this case, please discharge all refrigerant in the system and vacuum again. Change the refrigerant after it has reached vacuum requirement. If refrigeration oil goes out during the process, please recharge suitable volume of refrigeration oil. P1. Actuation of high pressure switch. The actuation of high pressure switch is that when the system pressure is more than 4.4 megapascal, the switch will open. P1 code appears. When the pressure decreases to 3.2 megapascal, it will resume. Repair instructions when P1 appears. Step 1. Check if the connection cable of high pressure switch is correct and reliable. If it is normal, use the OHM range of multimeter to check the resistance. If it is open or infinite, that means the sensor is broken. Short circuit the high pressure switch. If the malfunction disappears, that means the pressure switch is damaged and you can replace it. If malfunction still exists, the PC board of outdoor unit should be broken. You have to replace a new one. If protection happens during operation, please go to next step. Step 2. Measure the system pressure and compare with the normal system nearby to judge if the system has been charged too much refrigerant. The phenomenon when system has been charged too much refrigerant. The high and low pressure will be too high and discharge temperature will be too low in operating system. If there is such situation, please discharge some refrigerant, but new system is forbidden to discharge refrigerant. If it is normal, please go to next step. Step 3. Check if the outdoor unit is not well heat transfer. For example, heat exchanger is dirty, air inlet is short circuit to the outlet, outdoor fan doesn't work or wind speed is too low, the air outlet and inlet of heat exchanger is blocked, the distance among the outdoor units is too short. Check it one by one and wash the heat exchanger and filter. If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 4. Check if the liquid side pipes are jammed. For example, pipe is deformed, valve is jammed, or the shutoff valve is not open, and so on. Check it one by one. If it is normal, please go to the next step. Step 5.